Hi, it's Will from StormTheCastle.com, and here on YouTube you know me as Epic Fantasy. And it is day 5 of Hobbit Week. That's right. 8 days in a row I do a new project relating to the movie The Hobbit. And today's project is Fili's Warhammer. There you go. Can you see that? That's right. This thing is pretty cool. It's foam and a wooden dowel, and that's just about it. I show you how to do it step by step, and I even give you the template, which makes it much easier for you to make. So we'll launch into it. First, let me say thanks for watching my video. If you're a subscriber, thanks for subscribing. If you're not, hit that button. I do 2 new projects every week, all kinds of creative stuff. Leave a comment, leave a project suggestion. I read all comments. Let's launch into the intro, and then let's do how to make Fili's Warhammer. Thank you. Dioramas, origami, catapults, and trebuchets, telescopes, terrariums, bonsai trees, and paper games, swords and shields, and real blacksmithing, model rockets, animation. I teach the art of real creation. StormTheCastle.com. Let's make something. Okay, the first thing we need to do is make ourselves a block of foam. Now, I use 2-inch thick foam, which means I use 3 layers of it. But you can use just about any thickness of foam to make yourself a block. And the important thing here is that the block be 12 inches long and 6 by 6 square. Because that's how I've made the template to fit that size. See? Now here's the block. I got 3 layers. It's 12 inches long, and this dimension here is 6 by 6. 6 by 6. Once you get that, those pieces, hey, and if you get a block that's large enough to do that, then just cut it down to the right size. Otherwise, glue all those pieces together. Now, don't use a tremendous amount of glue, because it'll make carving it a little bit difficult in certain points out towards the edges. Now, just use a fair amount of glue, get a nice even coat, and glue it all together. And then let the glue set. Now take template 1, which is in the booklet, lay it on top of your brick of foam like this, and then all you have to do is mark off these 4 lines here. That edge, and the other 2 edges on the other side the same way. And then rotate the brick and do it again. So you do this 4 times on all the sides. You mark off those lengths. Now you only need those corners. And then you cut those corners off, and you can use a hot wire foam cutter, you can use a hacksaw blade, or you can use a hacksaw, you can use a saw. Just knock off those corners, and it ends up to be actually 8 corners that you knock off. And this makes the basic shape of the hammer. Watch, so there's another one, and I cut another one. And there's 8 knockoffs you do, and you end up with this. Wonderful. You get the basic shape of your hammer. The hammer head. So now, put a piece of sandpaper on a block like this, and then straighten it all out nice. Sand it a little bit smooth. So it gives a nice crisp edge there on your cut. Unless you cut it nice and even, you wouldn't have to do this. Now take template 2, and you're going to do this 8 times. On every surface, every of the angled surfaces, draw this line like this. There's 3 segments to it, 1, 2, and 3. Do it there. Do it here, turn the block, do it again, on both sides. You end up doing it 8 times. So it took me a long time to figure out this process. So it was easy to understand and very methodical to get from a block of foam to the actual hammer shape. That's why you're seeing some extra lines there and whatnot. But you just draw that line and then cut it out like this so it's about a 1/2 inch deep. And all you need to do is notch it like this, about a 1/2 inch. And you do that, there's 8 of those too. 2 here, 2 on every surface. 2, 2, 2, 2, see that? 8 of them. Now take template 3, put it right like this in the center of the hammer and mark it out. On the inside and the outside edge. And just like before, we do it 8 times. But you do this. See how I match these up like this? That forms like a diamond in every corner of the hammer. Mark it again. So you do that all 8 times. And that's it. Pretty much all the template work is done. Now we just got to do a little bit more carving and cutting. Now, this can be a little bit tricky, but if you have a rasp, it'll go really easy and quick. Bring all that surface down around the template markings about a 1/2 inch so they match the previous 1/2 inch cut you made. So just bring it down all the way around, all 4 sides. And it's foam, so it won't take you long. Now let's add some lines here. See this line I'm drawing here? It comes to a point. Draw all of those lines. There's actually 32 lines you draw, I think. I mean, it's 16, 2, 4, 4, 8, 16, 32, 2, 4, 8, 12, 16 lines. There you go. Like that. From that point to the point of the foam. See, that's easy to understand. I couldn't describe it well, but you can see how easy it is. Now you use your rasp to just bring that surface down to match the previous cut you made. Just like this. Just file it right down, add an angle. There you go. Looks good. You do all of those. Now I draw a line here about 1.5 inches up from the edge, all the way around. And we're going to cut away the foam to that line. I do it on both the left and the right sides of the hammer. And the best way to do something like this is either with a hacksaw or a hacksaw blade. And the important thing is to remember is to keep the triangle shape. You'll see what I mean in a second. But you bring the hacksaw blade right down to those lines you made, and you do it 4 times. And then you can gouge out the foam in the middle. See it? See how those are triangle shapes? And that's it. You do it on that side, and then you flip it over, and you do it on the other side, and that's that. Almost done here with the cutting of the foam. Wasn't so hard, was it? Now we want to make this into like a little knob. All 4 of these diamond sections, we're going to carve them into a little knob just like that, and that looks really good. See it? That's it. Carve all 4 of them like that, and you're pretty much done. A little bit of sandpaper to smooth things out. But you can leave it pretty rough if you want, because it is a dwarven warhammer. So a little bit of rough metal like would be kind of nice. It looks rough forged. So the only thing remaining in terms of the foam work is to drill a hole so you can put the dowel in it. That is 1.25 inch thick dowel, and I drilled a hole to correspond to that. And the dowel is 36 inches long. And remember, your instinct is to put it in the flat of the hammerhead. You don't. It goes from corner to corner. It goes diagonally through the foam. It's a little bit different because you're going to want to drill a hole in the center of the hammerhead, and that's not where it goes. It goes in these corners like this, diagonally through. Then you just put your dowel in and push it all the way through. Drill it, re-drill it, sand it a little bit, get a file or a rasp in there to clean it out. Push it all the way through and glue it in place. Let it stick out the other end about 1/2 inch. So now let's do the ornaments. I don't give you the ornaments in a template. You've got to carve them up yourself, but they're real simple. See that ornament there? That's just a square. And that is 7 inches down from the head of the hammer. From where the hammer meets the dowel, 7 inches. You put 2 of them on opposite sides and then add a little bit of foam so it forms a collar. Just like that. Easy enough. They're only 1 inch wide. And then carve yourself a little pommel, something like this, and glue that on too. And drill your 1.25 inch hole in that so it makes it easy to get on there. And that's it. Now we're going to put some kind of a grip on this. Now I got some suggestions. I'm using some vinyl. If you don't have vinyl, you can use leather, you can use cloth. If you don't have any of those things, you can just paint black on this. That'd be fine. Don't have to wrap it. Paint some black on there and you'll be okay. I like the vinyl. It gives a nice feel. It gives a nice look like a real Warhammer. So I ran a bead of glue all the way the length of it, cut it to fit, wrapped it around, and then ran another bead of glue and finished it off the wrapping like that. It looks good. And then we finish off that handle with some twine wrapping like this. You just go at an angle up and down the leather or the vinyl, whatever it is, or the paint. Wrap it and do lots of wraps. I think I did 15 wraps, something like that. And that's it. The handle is done. So let's do the painting. The pommel is silver. The collar is silver. The upper part of the shaft is silver. Like there. And all we have to do now is the head of the hammer. So I'm going to show you how to do this so it looks really metallic and kind of cool. Paint the whole thing black, the whole head of the hammer black, with a thick coat of black paint. And while that paint is still wet, start painting on silver. And start with these triangular pyramid shapes first. You want those to be a little bit more silver than the rest of it, because they stick out. But what's happening is because it's wet, it'll dilute that silver paint and kind of soften it up a little bit, make it look more metallic. It'll look more real. If everything was solid black or solid silver, it wouldn't look as real. And you can dabble like this, dapple on silver like this. You're going to get a feel for this real quick. You're going to say, wow, that looks really good. It looks like iron or steel or something. Because the black is still wet, and then you start to brush on silver. That's the secret. So that's it. Feely's Warhammer is done. Looks really good. I'm really happy with this project. A lot of fun. And it's pretty durable. You can, tinker around with this and have some fun with it. Thanks for watching that video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're a subscriber, thanks for subscribing to my channel. If you're not a subscriber, hit that button. I always have lots of fun and interesting and very creative projects. I do 2 new ones every week. As an example, here's a couple more videos you might want to watch.